And you're 36. This is fate. Ready?
Dope.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 36 of Convos on the Pedicab. I'm here with my buddy Patrick Dangerfield. Patrick, he's an engineer. He's a real estate agent. He's an entrepreneur? You're real.
It's an investing side, though.
So you're a real estate investor.
Not quite.
You're an aspiring author.
Definitely.
You're an aspiring author, and he's written a very special book on how to interact with the opposite gender. We're excited to hear about that. But, Pat, I'm very excited to have you on. We actually met a little while ago when they were collecting those homeless signatures. Remember that?
Right. We did.
And one of those guys kind of came up to you on the street and said, "Hey, are you going to sign the camping petition?" Yeah. And you were like, "Well, why should I sign the petition?" And the person who came up to you he
didn't know nothing. Right?
Well, he didn't know how to explain why it's important to sign that. And then I came up to you and was talking to you about why it's important. And I was sounding smarter than he was about why it's important to sign that. It has nothing to do with getting rid of homeless people. It has to do with the fact that the city's weaponizing the homeless and using them for money.
100%. I agree with that. Yeah, and I think we kind of agreed on that.
We agreed on that fully, yeah.
Right.
We agreed on that.
100%.
And did you wind up signing it or not?
No, I didn't sign it.
Yeah, because that guy didn't know how to communicate.
I didn't sign it because I don't know. It's just two sides of the coin. You know what I mean? I think about it. I always with my extra stuff. I got extra food. I don't throw it away. You know what I mean? I try to give it to the homeless. You know what I mean? And even clothes and stuff. And I talk to them, and a lot of them got a lot of mental issues where, you know what I mean? It's one thing. I know it's nomads and all that out there, but I think the biggest issue is just instead of moving them, the systems probably failed them for whatever reason, or maybe, you know what I mean? Because some of those people are definitely incapable of even just being on their own. I had conversations where some can't even talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what's the demographic of people where mental illness are out there? You know what I'm saying? So if you move them, then what?
Well, dude, there's also a lot of people there who don't really want to be housed either.
That's true too. So
I talked to some dude who I remember I had some problems with my car and he was helping me out with my car or something. And he basically said he basically told me that he just got done doing 25 years in jail, and he spent a whole half of it in solitary, and because of his experience, he doesn't even want to be indoors anymore.
Right.
So there are a lot of people like that, so
exactly. So what do you say to that, right?
I mean, what you say is you just got there still has to be rules, you still need to follow the rules. You can't just set up a tent wherever you want, across from somebody's house, and you shouldn't have an army of homeless people and a homeless Woodstock, downtown panhandling when people are trying to conduct business and commerce and stuff like that. That is not fair. You can't
So, I'm curious as to when this started versus before, the violence amongst homeless, and you know what I mean. I really would like to see that, and I'm speculating, but I bet it's down, and I just feel you know what I mean. There's different ways to handle it. So if you take them out the camps, where you put them, they're going to be in the apartments, they're going to be in parking garages, they're going to be at the businesses.
They did some resolution now where they spent $9 million or something like that on some new homeless hotels in District 6, and it's just I get the intention, right? You want to house people, but it's just such a waste of money, especially with this pandemic and all these small businesses that are literally on their last legs as a result of this. Why don't you just put that money that you took away from the police department into our bars and our music venues? That if you go downtown a Tuesday or a Wednesday, dude, these spots are dead. Friday and Saturday they're good, but on the weekday these spots are dead.
They are pretty good.
And
I get them popping though.
We'll talk about that later, Pat. Don't worry.
Right.
But dude, the city does everything in its power to to raise taxes at an astronomical level, and they use the guise of social programs to raise these taxes. And by raising these taxes, you make it harder for small business owners, you make it harder for working class people, you make it harder for the middle class to be able to stay in Austin affordably. And then they weaponize we gotta helping the homeless, right, or climate changers, whatever neoliberal buzzword or it is.
Right.
It's just literally being used to siphon money out of you. And that's what I was trying to tell you when that guy was coming up to you.
I mean, when you say siphon money out of like us in general,
yeah.
I mean, they're going to take our damn money either way, right? I don't know where it's going, right? All our taxes, where is it going? Uncle Sam's doing whatever the hell he wants. We got our own stimulus back, right? Like, so who knows? I mean, regardless, the money's going to go whether it's going to homes. Not where the hell does it go?
Sure, but at least you're taking somewhat of a stand, even if it's like a small little gesture. You're doing something. At least you're like, by signing your name to a piece of paper, you are voicing like your disapproval. And then that can still be powerful to like write your name on a piece of paper.
I'm still like 70-30. Like, yeah, I do agree. Like, some of the spots, yeah, it does look a little trashy and shit. But I'm also like, what's the solution for moving them? Where do you put them?
I think the solution
they're gonna be in Town Lake, and then that's where the joggers and the women and like get threatened. So people ain't thinking about that. And then the robbery rate goes up. They start stealing and shit. You know what I mean? So. It's what side of the coin do you really want?
Dude, there's also the trash too, and I see homeless people like they literally dig through the trash, and all of a sudden you see like trash piles left and right, and you can find a lot of crazy stuff in the garbage, you know. So I understand what they're doing, but you're not putting it back into the garbage, so like you're literally polluting the environment by doing what you're doing.
I mean, we're doing a lot of shit to pollute. I mean, you know what I mean? That's on a deeper level. I'm just looking at it like human, you know what I mean? A simple level of like, where does it go, right? We move them, and then what? Like. Then what?
I mean,
it's if like over here on Pleasant Valley, you know, between on Riverside.
It's Adlerville. Yeah, they're like Hoovervilles. Yeah, it's a little tent city.
So you pick those people up and tell them just go. Then
dude, these guys are getting lakefront property for no money, dude. They're literally like you got lakefront property for.
But yeah, I mean, I would hate to see them disperse at once, you know, on Riverside, because it'd be some shit, and you know what I mean, like then it's gonna get.
Put the mic to your head.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
my fault. Yeah, so yeah, when that happens, then we'll be right there though, because I mean, if you just said, "Hey, everybody get the," dude, it would be drastic.
But the homeless stuff is complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's really complicated, and like, you own a house or not?
I don't own a house, no.
Does your family own a house?
My family does, yeah.
Okay, like if a homeless, like, let's say they built like a homeless hotel, like across the street. Right. Or 3 blocks away from like your mom's house, like
I feel like the property value would go up.
It would go down. What do you mean? How would it go up?
Homeless people are downtown. We talked about that.
That makes no sense. Dude, that literally makes no sense.
Rainey's going up, right?
Rainey's going up because of the attractions and the events, and because it's a commercial district. And so but if they built a homeless encampment in Del Valley with nothing's really going on, they're building HEBs now or some shit like that. Like, the value is gonna plummet, and you're gonna pay more taxes to fund these services.
None of this homeless camping stop these home sales. It's steady booming. Austin steady booming. Ain't nobody said, you know what? That East Side property, I just didn't like that homeless camp behind it. They don't give a damn. They're buying it. That's what it is. And it's crazy because people say that like, yeah, it's dirty, but property's going up, bro.
Yeah,
and you can say what you want to say. We talked about
Yeah, but that is a fear, though. Like, that is a legit, that is like a very rational fear that a lot of people are having. Like, you know, a lot of people do fear that the property value of the house that they bought and worked their ass off to sustain is going to plummet or go down significantly because like the city arbitrarily decides to move a homeless and can't like move a homeless hotel across the street.
That would be they should. I mean, in District 6 as in
and that's like a nice these are really nice suburban. This is a nice suburban neighborhood, dude. We'll
see if that really happens, man. That's like propaganda to get all the tax buyers like upped and then it never happens.
No, they're literally like voted on doing that today at the council meeting. But
how long? Oh yeah, see the politics of that of voting and all that shit. Like I don't know. Whenever you know what I mean.
Do you not believe in voting?
I vote. I do. No, I vote. I mean, it's just all down to the nitty gritty city council and shit. Like I do vote. You vote?
Yeah, I vote. Of course, you have to vote. Like I mean who knows?
I wasn't an avid voter before, but now.
I mean, who knows if your vote even counts considering this election? But you know, I still vote.
I think it counted. It counted in the right way.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk. We'll go back to that.
I feel all right. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I played my part.
Hey, I'm happy for you. Listen, but we were talking about the homeless stuff, right? And there's another thing to this too, right? And it's like if you have kids. If you have like kids in a family, you know, you said it earlier, man. Like a lot of these guys have like mental problems and drug problems and all this stuff, right? And if you're building these homeless encampments or homeless hotels, and you're housing these people there, but there's no stipulation to stay in the house. Like, hey, you gotta do drug, you gotta go to these rehab meetings.
I'm sure they make some, right?
But they really aren't though. Like there's almost like no rules for this shit.
We'll see when it happens, man.
But it's like if you see like some crackhead like shitting in the street, and you got like a daughter who's like 5 years old trying to go to school, or you see people like aggressively
that's extreme, yeah. And you know what? Honestly, that ain't even on the crackhead. That's gonna be on the school because that crackhead shouldn't be even in the vicinity of where I'm walking my daughter to school anyway. I don't want that.
Well,
school.
but yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
right, but these are like legitimate concerns that a lot of people are having, and it doesn't seem like the city cares about these concerns in any capacity.
I mean, I didn't know that. That's a real concern. Yeah, I mean, I think anybody would be concerned about that. But yeah, I mean, that's extreme. But yeah, let's hope it doesn't get to that. I mean, at that point, I don't even have a kid, but if I had a daughter and like
do you,
a crackhead was taking a shit in front of her,
you'd change your whole tune about this.
I'll probably kill him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. Honestly. I was me and my girl just moved, right?
Yeah.
And we saw a homeless guy like camp out across the street of some random person's house. And I'm like, dude, if I was the homeowner, I'd be fucking heated seeing that.
Camp out where?
Like he had a tent across the street from some dude's house, like right in the park.
Outside?
Yeah, right outside across the street.
Though?
Yeah, like right across the street from his property is you're setting up a tent right across the street from my fucking house.
As long as he don't touch my property. But yeah, I mean, eventually he'll be moved though, right?
No, dude, that's not cool, man, because it's like if you're living, like you got to understand, man, like if you're in a position where you're like living on a tent and you're across the street from like a nice house, there's valuable shit in that house. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable like leaving my house because I don't know if somebody's gonna go break in or steal anything or do whatever the fuck they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's just not from a homeless dude in a tent. Anybody
I'm just,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like that's a red flag. Like you cannot be allowing people to set up a camp across the street. I saw it actually the first time. And
I'm not disagreeing
with you. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Like I mean, look here, I wouldn't be a dick to the homeless guy, right? Like I would probably like bring him some food that me and my girl made. I'm like, hey man, we got you something to eat. Sorry that you're in this position. But you really have to leave by tomorrow. If you don't, we're gonna have a serious problem. But I got you a bunch of food, before I say anything. You know what I mean?
Where is that tent at? Is on like some grass or something?
Just on some grass, like across the street from some dude's house in like West Slaughter Lane, like near
dude,
Brody.
So why don't we just own that property and then flip it? If he can stay there, and nobody's saying nothing, we can just build some and say we own it and flip it. That's how I look at it, right?
But then is the city going to give you a building permit? Like that's
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the city but in order for you to build something and have property and own something, you have to do a bunch of burdensome fees and pay do a whole bunch of like financial bullshit, right? But this guy some homeless guy can just randomly set up a tent and just sleep there, just camp out.
All right.
And why can't you just build something on that property, right? Like why not?
I don't know.
Why should you have to pay these bullshit permitting fees to do that?
Right. We'll never know, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's that's funny you say that because I just thought about like Austin's like the #1 gentrified city in America right now, right?
Yeah.
Or it was. I don't know if it still is. I know it was like 4 months ago. That shit was on New York Times.
It's going to go up. It's going up.
So think about this. So like Austin's thing is like gentrified, right? But it's like you got to make a certain amount to stay here. Or you make no amount and you're good here.
Well, that's the same thing as New York.
I've never been to New York.
You never been there?
I've never been to New York.
It's the same thing as New York. Like, do you go to church?
I haven't been to church, but I go to church in my house. I'm church within, but I haven't been to church
in a while. But does your family go to church?
Not so much.
Well,
no.
Look, I'm a Jew. I don't go to church at all. But I'll tell you this: if you live in listen, I'm the most oppressed person on this cab, pretty much. But that's that's another story. No, look. I
mean, I ain't got no.
What I was gonna say though is that if you live in New York City, you don't need to go to church because you have these crackheads that are literally giving sermons on the subway train every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like you can literally sit on the #1 train, and you'll just see some homeless guy just giving a sermon on the train.
Some of the realest advice I got is from like homeless people and crackheads, so because they've been through it, you know what I mean, and they can. I had some real conversations with some people who haven't.
Some of them are cool, man. Some of them, actually, a lot of them are probably cool. The problem though with what the city's doing is that you're like you're making it unsafe for the homeless people by what the city's doing. You know what I mean? Like you're creating too much of a demand. Like you're increasing the supply of homeless people and fucking up the supply and demand ratio because, like you can go to Austin and it's like, oh, these nonprofits, they'll hook you up, man. They'll give you a tent. They're feeding you all the time. There's so many services. Like, you can get like, Austin's like the place to be if you're going to be homeless. Like, Austin, San Francisco, Seattle, all those places, right? So, word gets out. People start flooding to these cities, and then all of a sudden, you get, like, a lot more violent people and criminals and people who are, like, just trying to scheme the system that just blatantly come to Austin. And that creates a huge that creates a huge safety hazard for the existing homeless population here.
Yeah. I feel like they're brave enough. Shit, they can fend whoever. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, but like, just like all the cities you named, I mean, that's synonymous with like money. Where the money's gonna be, I guess where the homeless gonna be.
And
are we finding a pattern?
And you want to talk about gentrification? The homeless are being used to expedite that shit, because when they build these hotels and these houses, what do you think they're gonna do once they're able to stay there?
I mean, they're just
registering them to vote, dude. They're registering them to vote because now they have a residence.
Yeah, that's deep. I mean,
and then all of a sudden it's like you get some candidate.
I hear you, but shit, that's too forward think. You're forward thinking, like, I mean.
But so are they. These guys are forward thinking too. Like, this is just a way to register these guys to vote, and then like some developer, real estate friendly candidate who says a bunch of progressive platitudes to look good, will be the person that's helping to register these homeless guys to vote, and all of a sudden, then, the sheer magnitude of homeless people that are flocking to Austin left and right, they're gonna literally be the catalyst to expedite displacement and gentrification. Like, these homeless people are being used to do that, man. Like, that's what's scary and dangerous about this.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not as scared as and endangered about it, but I mean, shit, you can't control the powers that be. You know what I mean? I hear what you're saying, but my whole thing is, since I know, like, me and you can talk, you know what I mean? And it's probably, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to do that change, especially when the dollars are behind it. So what I'm going to do in all that is, like, I'm going to keep a good heart and pure and want best for everybody, but I'm going to try to capitalize and win it and all this shit too, because, hey, they're doing it, right? Like, I mean.
Hey, well, listen, man, Bill Gates shouldn't be the only one profiting off the pandemic, right?
He shouldn't, and he ain't.
He's not. A lot of people have done really well
and all
this
you got to do is plug in, because
a lot of people have done very well financially this year. If anything, like, everyone's talking about how, like, this has exacerbated a lot of income inequality, and it has, because these lockdowns and everything, it was just a way for billionaires to siphon money out of smaller businesses and stuff like that. We all know this, right? And if you're one of those people who's on the progressive left supporting this shit, like, you're literally doing the opposite of what you claim to support, I stand by that statement. That being said, this has been the biggest financial opportunity of a lot of people's lives, and they don't realize it.
Yeah, and so it's not as bad as as it seems, really. And I mean, I know Corona has affected people a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm just fortunate enough where it's benefited me in different ways. But I mean, you know what I mean? I'm still humble enough to know, like, it has been a rough time for everybody. You know what I mean?
You got any family that have been affected by it?
Man, we've been blessed. Honestly, we've been blessed, man. I mean, my pops and them, they retired, they straight, but like my mom's, I think she went back to work from where she retired like 2-3 times, and I mean, my sister's thriving. You know what I'm saying? Shit, everybody, even my boys. You know what I mean? And I think it's just because of, you know what I'm saying, a little luck and by the grace of God, but also like preparation before the pandemic, you know what I mean?
And then the Federal Reserve pumping a bunch of money.
well, whatever. But like, you know what I'm saying? People were on their shit prior to Corona, so whatever, you know what I mean? If you didn't have your shit right before Corona, you try to get right during Corona, you could, but boys had a head start, and we was on our shit way before, so it kind of siphoned in, you know what I mean? Dude, and you could ride that wave.
I tell you what, man, the virus has really given rise to it's really given rise to the real estate investor, and it's really made the real estate. It turned the real estate investor into a monster.
Hey man, whatever.
Dude, you've been paying attention to what's going on Robinhood with GameStop and all that shit?
It's crazy, man. Like I said, I'm not in the stock game. One of my best friends put me on, and he told me about today. But it's funny because I didn't know what the hell was going on because I seen all the memes, and then they had memes about GameStop, and you know what I mean. But yeah, it went crazy, and I mean, yeah, that's the thing too. Like a lot of people are getting rich off their phone, and that's what the pandemic. It's a lot of people, I'm sure.
And then Wall Street was like trying to get the SEC to stop trading on these platforms because I'm like, oh, what happened to the free market now, dude? Like I thought, I thought this is capitalism. I thot everyone has a chance to fucking make it on their own.
Right. That's funny you say that, man.
All of a sudden the regular people are getting what's theirs. Now you're halting.
Damn, yeah, that's crazy. My boy literally told me that same thing today. He's like, now that the average person's picking up a bag, they don't like that. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of a hidden secret,
this is
right?
how you get communism, dude. They don't understand that. Like when Wall Street starts doing shit like that, and they throw a temper tantrum when everyday human beings
become millionaires,
start making real money really quickly.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you're rigging the game. Like this is an advertisement for socialism. When you do this shit, like it's a giant fucking advertisement for communism. When you're not letting us play the game.
Man.
Like we're beating you at your own game, and you're not letting us play.
And that's why that's why I'm saying, like, with all this, you just got to play your best game. Play your best game, because you can't control the powers that be, but like you're saying,
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, though, dude. This is like, this is pleading a really good case for socialism, and that's not good. It's not good, but like when Wall Street, when the SEC, when these big companies start pulling stunts like that, it makes it seem like they really are doing everything it is that exists in their power to make it so that everyday people don't benefit off the system that we have.
Right.
And the reason the system is so good is because everyday people can benefit from it.
Yeah.
And if you're literally stopping that, like you're facilitating communism.
Right. It's like my dad used to always say, keeping the black jelly bean at the bottom of the jar. You know what I mean? It's like, think about it. Everybody grabs the jelly beans. They pick up the black jelly bean, drop it back to the bottom.
Nobody wants to eat the black jelly bean, dude.
And they drop it right back to the bottom. So when it comes up, it goes down. So it's our job to keep coming up. It's probably, I don't know, you? Me?
Nobody. It's not me.
DM or email?
I think it's email. But dude, it is a pretty messed up thing to talk about. It's a pretty messed up thing when you think about it, though, right? But I think it's also kind of cool that like everyday people are starting to wake up to like to what's going on, and ultimately, like this they had all these protests during the summer, right, for all the racial justice and all that shit, right? And it was also turning into like this little communist. What?
I protest a little bit. Well, I had to just for the fact that George Floyd, and I got partners who been unfortunately took by police, so I had to just go out there and step for them.
And you should. And you should definitely, like, if you feel like you've been treated like shit in your own country for 400 years, like, you should be going out.
Not 400 years, but like 15 years. It's been, it ain't. Even now, like my car now, I don't even got 10 on it because of the police. So I don't even ride 10 in my car because I know like how they go. So like it's just best for me to leave me with no tent so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah. And I don't get killed for, a traffic stop.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And I think that the cops have actually been gotten better about a lot of things since all this shit. Yeah, I feel like they have. I saw some dude pissing in the alley, some drunk dude.
I honestly was pissing the other night and the cop let me make it. So
yeah, exactly.
But still though, like,
hey, 5 years ago that might not have been the case. So now I don't
get shot. 5 years ago, I don't get shot for pissing. So still like.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I like to look at I like to be an optimist.
Right, but you should never get killed for pissing.
No kidding, but you didn't even get ticketed.
Because of
I
got out the ticket, but
I think that a lot of these protests have definitely created a situation where like the cops are becoming a little bit better about their job. Like I think let's hope that that's where it leads to.
100%. I hope it leads to that. It's too early to say.
I honestly think that you should be at least a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before you're even a cop anyway.
I think cops should get charged like for murder, like if me and you got charged.
I think they should get personal liability insurance.
Why is that?
Because this way, instead, like when something happens like this, whenever you have to settle a lawsuit, it's the taxpayer that it comes out of the taxpayer's money,
and not the
if the cop gets a liability insurance, it comes out of their insurance company, so you're not paying for the lawsuit anytime there's like police misconduct.
I think they should just get charged with murder, like me and you would.
Yeah, but you got to charge people with crimes that there's a realistic chance of a conviction.
Well, no, I'm saying it shouldn't be 3 weeks without pay and shit, for murder. Because what you're dealing with, see, a lot of most of the cops, they have, they got that little boy syndrome. You know what I mean? And so,
well,
most of them, I say more than not, because more of the people I know who are cops been like that. They was the one getting their lunch money took in school.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. So it's the ones who like dudes wasn't getting laid. You know, they hating on the jock and shit. So now they finally get that power with that badge. So you don't know what it is, and that's how I be. See, no, don't hold on.
All right,
but look, so think about it. You know what I mean? It's these cops and like, oh, that black dude. You know what I'm saying? And let's just say a white guy, because it's a majority of white cops killing black dudes. So we'll keep it at that. So like, white dude, you know what I'm saying? See a black dude and his wife, whatever, been watching basketball and shit, and now he's fixated like, oh shit, my girl's gonna leave for this black dude, and I can kill this dude and take this anger out and get a month without pay. Really? So like yeah. So
it's pretty bold. You make some bold statements there, dude. That's a pretty big statement.
I mean, be naive if you want, but
I'm not naive. I'm not naive at all.
I mean, but so you see what I'm saying? So see, if you were tempered and they gave you a badge right now, and you were like, man, you know what?
That's why you gotta get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, man.
You gotta
know how to.
You gotta start. I think what happens is when these cops are illegally killing people, they get charged with murder. You know what I'm saying? 25 or whatever. Then they'll start thinking, because most of them cops can't handle that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's another thing too, man. It's easier to get once you're in the academy.
No, it's a faster. See, you keep talking about the logistics of it. I'm talking about humanitarian thing. If a dude, I don't care if he got a damn badge. I don't care if he's got what academy he's been on, what blue red light signal. If he illegally murders you, he needs to be charged with murder.
Yeah, sure, but then it becomes very murky and complicated to determine whether or not the incident occurred was murder versus George Floyd. Like that was murder. Like with George Floyd, that was murder.
Agree on that.
Yeah, like George Floyd.
So all those cops. So if I choke you, I mean, even if it was a white cop on a black cop on a white, they would have been different. So, anyways, but if I choke you out right now, I'm 25L with no cameras, right? Off top. So the cops should be the same thing, right? That's all I'm saying. We're saying the same thing. That's it.
Kind of. Although I think that
if it's justified, if you can say like, yeah, that's murder, I think they need to be charged with murder. That's it.
Yeah,
and I think that's how you stop them motherfuckers from murdering, because they ain't got it in them to really do 25. And then they go in there and they get
you're a cop, and it's not going to be good.
And it'll stop there. And then you know what? When that cop pulls you over, man, I really ain't gonna pop his ass because I can't do 25. I'll pop his ass. I can do 4 months. I can do a month without pay. Oh shit! I've been wanting to go on a vacation. Sometimes it's paid vacation. It's not a bad trade-off.
People like that exist.
I mean, the rules exist. I'm just saying the rules need to change. It's not the people.
Look, I think that there's bad cops, there's good cops.
100%.
The good cops have to do a better job of pointing out the bad cops, and I think that
I agree. I think it's good and bad and everything. It's good.
But we got sidetracked because we were talking about communism earlier, and like a lot of what happened devolved into like this mini communist revolution during the summer with like a lot of the BLM stuff. And ultimately, I think that the best way to revolt against like a corrupt capitalist system is to just beat them at capitalism. Like what's happening on Robinhood, a lot of like these hedge funds lost a fuck ton of money because of just regular people saying, fuck this, we're taking matters in our own hands, and we're going to buy up a whole bunch of the companies that these hedge funds are shorting.
Right.
So I think ultimately what we should be doing...
I'm learning more about... I don't know enough about
what
that.
We need to, like, what we should be doing is, and this kind of like, I tried to run for city council, and one of the things in my platform was like, we need to provide like financial literacy programs comprehensively in black neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And teach people like how to invest in the stock market, like what a P ratio is,
that would be nice,
you know what I mean? Like how to read a balance
sheet.
Because
you were taught stocks.
A little bit. I mean,
I never was.
Like, you know, I learned some basics. I have friends who work on Wall Street. I ask them questions. I have resources
but I mean, like,
where I can ask people questions and learn.
Were your parents in the stocks?
No.
And well, see, yeah, most people like on the other side do come up with like learning stocks.
Yeah,
we did.
My mom and dad were not into it, but you know, we have family that knew stuff, and I had friends who went
to college. See, we didn't have family. That's the difference.
Exactly. I had friends who went to college, so I was able to learn this stuff, and I'm like, well, dude, that's a privilege that I got to learn this.
Right. 100%.
That's a huge privilege, right? And it's like, why weren't you able to learn that, right? Why aren't they teaching that in communities of color that are like historically poor, through no fault of their own, because of redlining and because banks didn't lend money to black businesses and do all that stuff? Like, why aren't we putting money into teaching financial literacy programs in black neighborhoods? Like, imagine, like, imagine the change that could happen if, like, a bunch of, you know, if a bunch of like poor black kids were like didn't like what a company was doing, and they said, hey man, we're all gonna at the same time short this company. A bunch of high school kids got together and said, yo, we're gonna short this company. Hey, we're gonna do what they did on Robin, and there was a bunch of high school kids that did that. Right. Imagine that. Or a bunch of college kids from like Howard University or something. Like imagine the possibilities that could happen to really dismantle the system. You don't have to shed any blood. You don't have to do any bloodshed, dude. Or if you
and I guess that's the separation now is the not the I guess I don't know if that's the word, but you're right. Like the displacing of information. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's what I mean. Like it's a distraction. Like, and then if they required every NBA player and NFL player to spend 200 hours during their rookie year with a financial expert that was to have no part in their career afterwards, and their only job was to just teach them like financial literacy and how to do basic investing, you'd revolutionize wealth in Black America in 50 years.
Man, that's what it's about.
You know what I mean? You would literally change the whole ballgame up. That's like over $1 billion in salaries per year for all of these sports. Most of these people are black, right? Like,
right.
Imagine
no,
how
that's
much
what it's about. That's what it's about.
Change the whole fucking game up. Like,
that's what it's about.
With no money being spent by the taxpayer, it's such an easy solution.
Generational wealth for sure. Yeah,
we got to build that. Like that's important.
And that's important. That's important. And that's where I'm at. Like that's why I'm trying to run it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can hopefully pass on something. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no kids, maybe my nephew or something, or just put people on. You know
Pat,
what I mean?
we got 5 minutes, but we got 5 minutes left, right? So we got to wrap this up.
Are you gonna edit that too, or what?
Oh no, there's no editing. It's all live, dude. But you're writing a book, and this is what we really want to talk about.
I'm working on a book.
You trying to write a book on what? Picking up women?
Not picking up women. I'm gonna write a book.
I mean, you smell good, dude. You smell great. I'm saying like if I was a chick and
Yeah, I mean, a lot of chicks say that, but yeah, I appreciate that, but yeah, not like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah. So that's kind of how we met, though. I think you doubted me, really. After the petition,
I think that the whole idea.
No, you doubted me because there was a.
No, I didn't. I feel like
that chick walking up and
I did not doubt. So whatever happened with that girl?
I mean, I'm not. She started off a little hot. Now she's a little cold. Did
you bet? Did you?
No.
So that nothing happened. There you go. Nothing happened. All right.
But I could though. I'm not in pursuit. I will.
Did anything happen to you?
I mean, I could have went.
Did you get like? Come on, you can share. It's fine. It's an open podcast. Did she?
No, I mean, no. I think
nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
No brains. Nothing.
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 I mean,
nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, dude.
Nothing. I mean, dude, I met her that day, and I think I could have met her that night, but I
It's okay.
I was booked already. You know what I mean?
You're killing the game over here.
But yeah.
No, I think that whole pickup stuff is fucking retarded. Like, you know what I mean? That's my.
No,
my
I agree. I
think if you live in Austin, Texas, you shouldn't need to read a book on how to get women to.
No, you do though. That's what I'm coming with the book for because that's what I'm coming with it for. You're right. In Austin, you shouldn't have to do that, but like, unfortunately, I mean. A lot of dudes that got soft and they lost their confidence.
Listen, I could write a book. I can write a book right now on how to get laid in Austin, and I'm gonna.
What would
tell
you do?
I'm gonna. This is the summary of my book.
But it's not laid in
Austin.
Austin.
Get a dog.
Okay.
Get a motorcycle.
I don't have a dog.
Get a dog. Get a motorcycle. Get a job where you work downtown and you're around a lot of girls.
Those are 3 things.
That's it.
So
the end. The end.
I have none of those 3 things, and that's what the book's about. You actually don't need none of those 3 things because I have none of those.
Get a dog.
I don't have a dog. I don't have a motorcycle. I don't work downtown, although I'm living downtown.
There you
but
go.
It don't matter. I don't need those 3. I can live in this shack and still get it in.
I'm sure. Well, I believe you. I'm just saying that, like, the
so
little cheat codes. Get a dog. You ever do Bumble or Tinder?
I have.
Dude,
I'm not photogenic, so honestly, like, I don't know. Bumble's cool. Tinder,
I met my girlfriend on Bumble. We've been together for 4 years.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dude.
My girlfriend is beautiful. Yeah. We've been together for 4 years, so I'm pretty out of practice. Like, I'm not interested in talking to anybody.
So for real, you fell in love on the app. I thought we were talking about the date. Oh, you were talking about the pickup artist.
I think all that pickup artist stuff is retarded, but.
So what did you do? You took a professional photo shoot on Bumble?
Hell no.
No?
No, absolutely not. No, listen, like I took a picture.
Where'd you take her to where's your first date?
We went to Soul Cycle. I was getting ready for an MMA. I was getting ready for an MMA fight, right? And she's a personal trainer.
So that was the lure. I got it.
And we were talking for like a week. And I was, I used to be a substitute teacher like a long time ago, right, in Austin. And subbing is the best job in the world because you don't do anything. You just sit.
Yeah.
So I got really good at online dating because of substitute teaching. Because all I do is sit on my ass. Like I tell the kids to go do whatever their assignment was and be quiet. And then like I would just sit on my phone, go pull up Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid, swipe right on Tinder and Bumble. OkCupid, I got my little generic message like, "Hey, you seem like a really cool girl. Just wanted to say hi. How's your day going?" And I'm like, "Well, if she likes you, then she responds to that. Boom. It's really simple. It's not brain surgery, right?" And then luckily I met this one girl who we had a lot in common with, and I was getting ready for my fight, so I wasn't drinking or anything. And she's like, I'm going to Soul Cycle. Do you want to come with me? And I'm like, you know what? I kind of need to do a light cardio day. Why not? And then we hit it off, and things just worked out. And she was like, I got into a car accident I got into a car accident like 3 months into us dating. She drove like 30 miles out of her way and picked me up and like drove me to work, you know? And I'm like, you know what? Maybe you should like maybe you should really pursue this like seriously and do the right thing with this person, because most girls in Austin are pretty flaky and only like you when things are going well, and this person wasn't like that.
So shit was you weren't all the way up, and she was still messing with you.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, no, hell yeah.
And dude,
you gotta respect that.
Dude, listen, I got fired from substitute teaching in Austin because I got those 3
Damn, you gotta be
really fucking inept to get fired from.
You gotta be kind of shitty. I didn't want to say it. To get fired as a substitute teacher.
No, you have to be extremely incompetent. Like, no, well, we're about to wrap up, but like. You got to have an extreme level of incompetence to get fired as a substitute teacher in the Austin School District.
I'm glad you found love on Bumble. My shit's in person. I pull at the gas station, H-E-B, Whole Foods, downtown. Like, I'm more in person. I ain't got time to swipe and shit because, like, I don't want to be catfished and half that shit be bots.
You're not going to be catfished. Dude, just play mini golf. Mini golf is the spot, dude. This is my advice to you. Peter Pan mini golf was where I used to go all the time.
South Lamar and Borden Springs?
Yeah, Peter Pan mini golf. You
don't spend that shit played out or Top Golf? Come on now.
No, Top Golf is retarded. You spend way more money on Top Golf. You spend $10 on mini golf.
And then who's
and if she looks like nobody, it's just you and the girl, and then you buy your own.
Oh, you're saying a date?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to date. I can just bring him to my spot. I don't have to like.
Hey, you're doing great. You got this. All right, listen, Pat. It's been real. It's been fun. Thank you for coming on. This has been an all new episode of Convos on the Pedicab. Pat, how do we get a hold of you? Tell us what your book's about, real quick. Elevator pitch to close out. Finish strong.
A Rare Breed Instagram, PAT. Follow me. Book will be launching soon, and I actually think you're going to help me write it. We talked about doing a podcast separate to this.
Do you want me to help you write this
I don't
book?
want you to help me write because we probably got different point of views, but I'm gonna tie you into it somehow.
Listen, I used to but before I met my girlfriend, after we got it in, after the date was successful, I was really good at making it unsuccessful.
That's my thing is like sometimes
I would put on some Alex Jones right afterwards, dude. I'm like, yo, now you got to listen to these woke knowledge bombs, baby.
Yeah, that's weird.
I dropped some woke.
We won't be writing the book together. But yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Yeah, I ain't doing none of that.
Human animal hybrid chimeras, girl.
Nah, yeah, and she's stuck after that. Hey, so that's the one.
Hey, I'll tell you this though. We gotta go, but. Dude,
I had a fun time.
This was fun. Listen, I make rap songs about conspiracy theories.
You told me that.
Yeah, so maybe you can hear one of those songs before we go. But you know, it's been a good time. Thank you, Pat, for coming on. All new episode, Convos the Pedicab. Charlie's in a rush. I could stay and talk with you for hours, but
we're gonna do it though. We're gonna link up on some
it'll
shit.
Be fun, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I'll see you downtown.
What's your Pedicab? So my boys, when I put on my page, they can call you.
Dude, Alex Stringer. Alex Stringer is my Instagram. Just tell him.
Hit him up for Pedicabs.
All right.
He's got you.